Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nshabo and this is a close with me where we get to sit down and talk about life based on my experiences, my lessons and my perspectives with the aim of personal development. So I welcome you here and I hope you enjoy this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't, and please do share, like and comment. And to my returning subscribers, thank you guys so much for returning. Thank you for taking your time and your data to watch me and to listen to me. I feel very honored that you guys actually allow me that into your life. So thank you guys so much. Please do subscribe, you guys, because it helps the channel grow and it really means so much to me when you guys subscribe. It grows the channel, and I mean, we have dreams and goals with where the channel is going, and it really feels good to see the channel growing. So please do subscribe. Please help me grow this channel. I really appreciate it so much. So guys, today I'm going to be talking about a side of my life that is very private, a side of my life, the topic that I have postponed so much for a very long time because I still had to figure out how I'm going to approach it in a way that is very convenient and appropriate for my life, my home life, my marriage life, and everything that has to do with that. So we're gonna be talking marriage, and the reason why I finally decided to sit down and talk about this is because I've watched other videos. So this video specifically was inspired by the Mazindos, you guys. They are on YouTube and they speak a lot about this, and I really love it. Check out their channel. It's at Innocentia Mazindo, Innocentia Pindile Mazindo. Please check out her channel, and I hope it might reignite your spark like it did with mine. I mean, this video is here because of them. So I'm also sitting down today to speak about this topic, hoping that it will reignite your hope, because I've met a lot of people who have given up on love. I've met a lot of people who don't want anything to do with marriage, like they don't want to even hear the word marriage, and it doesn't even make sense to them why I am married at this age. So I'm hoping to explain myself, and I'm hoping to motivate and encourage you and reignite your hope in marriage, you know. So yeah guys, as you saw the topic, I believe that you clicked on this video because you're curious to know whether I regret it or not. And in this video I'm actually gonna be answering that, and I hope you enjoy this video and you get something out of it. So if I was asked that question 3 years back, 4 years back, do I think getting married at the age that I did was a good idea, I would have answered no without even thinking about it. If I was asked, was the decision to get married at that age a good one, I would have definitely said no, without even thinking about it. Had you asked me this question 4 years back, 5 years back, I would have said definitely no. We were not thinking straight. But I'm gonna explain to you why I would have answered no at that time. So growing up in a family that I did, being a poverty-stricken family, being a family where you would go to bed without food, you would wake up and there's nothing to eat. Every day that came was a day for you to figure out how we are gonna go through this day, what we're gonna eat, what we're gonna survive, how we're gonna survive on that day. You know, my only inspiration in life, what I aspired to do, what I aspired to achieve in my life, the least that I wanted to get out of my life was to establish my career, get a good job, and be able to buy food. I literally, you guys, just wanted to be rich. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be able to afford everything. I wanted to live that life where it belonged in the past. I wanted it to be that part of my life, in the past. I didn't want it to come with me into the future. So the only thing I had always aspired to do was to go to school, get a career, establish my career, build a career, get a good job, and have money. That is all I wanted to do with my life. So never in my life have I ever thought about marriage. I never even considered marriage. I didn't think about it, you guys. I never thought about marriage. I never pictured myself with my husband and my children in our home, in our car. I never had those thoughts in the thoughts that I was in my car. It was just me. In the thoughts where I'd be going shopping, it was just me. I never saw myself with a bunch of little people running around and this guy holding my hand. Never in my life had I ever thought about that, So marriage is not part of the picture for me. And then here came this guy who had his life figured out, who knew what he wanted, who knew what he wanted to do, where he wanted to see his life in a few years, things like those. And then the idea of marriage came. I was very in love with my husband. I don't want to lie. I was very in love with my husband, and I thought, oh, okay, there is marriage, I was like, okay, and this man wants to marry me. Let's go ahead and get married, So that's what happened. I got married, but the one thing that I did wrong, me having never thought about marriage, me having never considered marriage in my life, which I believe was from me wanting to be a career woman, to have money, and also just me having my self-esteem issues, my self-worth issues. I never even thought like a man would want to marry me, So having not thought about marriage, having not considered marriage, I did not allow myself to appreciate and acknowledge the perks of being married, the things that came with being married. I never ever sat down and said to myself, Nshaba, you want to get married now? This is what's going to happen once you're married. You're going to have to give up some things. You're going to have to do some things that you don't like. You're going to have to give a whole lot of compromises and sacrifices. I never sat myself down and had that conversation with myself. So I got married, but mentally I feel like I was not there and I was not ready. I just wanted to be with my husband, So that's one of the reasons why I would have said no had anyone asked me if I think getting married at that age was a good idea. Because when the sacrifices had to be made, when things finally started happening, when I finally had to start making compromises, to start giving up some things, to start taking on some things that I never thought I would have to do, I didn't understand, and it didn't sit well with me that why do I have to do all these things? But I had to understand that this is what I signed up for when I agreed to getting married, So it was very hard based on that, the fact that I was not ready mentally to live that marriage life, but I wanted to be married, That's why it was a complete no for me at that age, because I was not ready to let go of some things. I was just not ready to be someone's wife, like to behave like someone's wife. I just wanted to still continue with my school. As married as I was, I wanted to behave like a single woman, if I can put it like that. I wanted to leave. I wanted to go out there, do my thing, still further my career, which was possible, but obviously had to be done with the consideration of other people now. You understand? And then let's jump into answering the question now, because that's how I would have answered it back then. And so one day I just sat with myself and I said, you know what, Nshabo, you have always wanted to go to school, and so far you've given up school twice, okay? And you are married. And one thing that seems to be going very well in your life is the marriage. Like, that is one thing that seemed to be sticking around, rather. Like, it was there. It was not going anywhere. This man was there. This man loved me with all my flaws, with me not wanting to be there, with me wanting to go out there and just figure things out myself, So I had to sit down with myself and go back to God's word, because you guys know me. You guys know everything about me is based on God, relies on God, is dependent on God. There were a lot for me, But when I finally sat down and had this conversation with myself, I said, you know what, Nshabo? You always pray for God's will to prevail in your life, okay? So what if this is what God wants you to focus on at this time for you to actually get to where you want to be, which is being a career woman and being successful and having all this money, It was a very difficult conversation to have, because I felt that I still needed to be that woman that I wanted to be, and I wanted to do it within the marriage, which was which was possible, but I was not doing it the right way because I wanted to take the journey alone still, whereas I had put this man in my life, you know. And so I spoke to myself, a very, very serious conversation. Like, Nshabo, you know that you always pray for God's will. You know that God has plans for you, and those plans are never to harm you, but they are to prosper you and to give you hope and future. Okay, so this is God's plan. We need to believe that this is God's plan for your life. So how about you shift your focus just a little bit from there to there, and let's see how things goes. And that is when, you guys, my life changed. That is when everything just turned around miraculously. I don't know how. That is when I also started working on myself, just so that this man could have the best vision of me. So I'm gonna make a video where I'm gonna talk about how my marriage saved me from myself, because it literally did. But had that moment never happened, we would have never had this Nshabo that you guys see today. This Nshabo that has so much confidence and is sitting in front of a camera and is sharing her life story. Had that conversation never happened, you guys, my marriage wouldn't be what it is today. I do not share a lot about that on social media especially, but I believe I have one of the most beautiful marriages in the world, okay? Not even in South Africa, in the world. But it was mainly because of that conversation where I finally sat down and I said, you know what, maybe God brought me this person to share my life with. Maybe God brought me this person to take this journey that I desperately want to take with. Like, God brought me a helper. I mean, it's in the Bible, like the wife should be the helper. I literally feel like God said, you know what, guy, go and help that lady out. Like, she's trying to figure out her life, but I don't feel like she can do it alone. So go and be there, hold her hand, and go through it with her. So to answer this question, guys, I believe that getting married at that age was the best thing I could have ever done. I believe that marrying this person specifically, which I believe God sent me, was the best thing that has ever happened to me. Because there is so many reasons that I'm gonna state, but I'm gonna focus mainly on what I have already spoken about, which is me wanting to become a career woman. Being married to this man, even school, guys, school-wise, I am studying, which excludes the 2 times that I've dropped out and everything. I started over, and that was after I decided to focus on the marriage, okay? So school-wise, when it becomes tough, he's there. Work-wise, when it becomes tough, he's there. Personally, when it becomes tough, he's there. Which, like, I appreciate so much, because I believe it would have been a very difficult journey if I had taken this journey alone. Already it had proven itself that it is difficult if you want to go through it alone. So having him here with me and having him willing to go through it with me has been such an important, a very significant blessing in my life. So yes, I believe I made the right choice by getting married at that age. It was tough. It's been very difficult. Like I said to you guys, that I was not mentally ready, and it's because of the things that I had convinced myself of. It's the beliefs that I had, it's the aspirations that I had that made most of the things very difficult, because I was not willing. But once I was in, once my focus was there, that's when I started to realize that, you know what, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me. So should you get married? Should people get married? I think you guys already know the answer. Coming from me, coming from my experience, coming from the things that I've seen, the bad plus the good, I still believe marriage is beautiful. I still believe love is such a beautiful thing. I still believe that love must be had. People must have love. People must share love. You know, we live in faith, okay? I know other people, like, people are scared. Like, what if it ends? Everything ends, but some things don't end, okay? Some things are meant to be. We sitting there, you sitting there, me sitting there, we know that we have grandparents, we have people who have been together for 50 years, people who have been together for 90 years, people who have been together for so many years. Marriages end, but also marriages last, okay? So we are not going to live our lives based on what if it ends. What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't end? We pray a living God. We have faith that we believe strongly in his will in our lives, which is never to harm us, okay? So even if things were to go another way, we would still believe that it is his will and it is for our good, okay? So should you get married? I think you should. I think if you meet someone who is willing, who, you know what, who is willing to be there for you, who is willing to change for you, because that is the most important part, who is willing to change for you, who is willing to do it for you so that you can have the best version of them. If you meet someone who is ready to give it all up for you, girl, like, love is such a beautiful thing, you guys. And I'm not saying this because I'm having it good, I'm having it best, I'm having it better. We worked for this. We worked for where our marriage is, okay? We, like, a lot had to happen. When you see me coming here and talking about my molestations, my abuse, those things had to be dealt with in the marriage, and he was ready to go through them with me. As much as they also affected him, he was ready to work through them with me. And I'm not saying my husband's perfect, okay? I'm not saying my husband's perfect. He's not. He's a human being. He's a normal human being who was ready to take me with everything that I am. And even me, when I finally had to focus on my marriage, I had to take him with all his imperfections, with all his flaws, his you know what, his all his imperfections. So should you get married? I think you should. If you meet someone who you believe will climb mountains for you, will swim into deep waters for you, I think it is worth it. I think it is worth a try. I think it is a beautiful experience that you are going to have. So if you are considering it, go ahead. It's always worth a try. So yes, you guys, that was it from me today. I hope wherever you are celebrating love. I hope wherever you are appreciating your partners. I hope wherever you are well and you are good. As we welcome spring, you guys, I'm going to do my best to bring people who are in love, okay, and who are enjoying their love journeys, to feature on this I don't want to call it a series. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm really trying to focus on talking about love this month. So I'm going to do my best to bring those people who are married young, people who are in relationships and they are enjoying those relationships. I'm going to try and bring them so that we reignite this love thing and we get it going, you know. And we have you who have given up on love to believe in it again, so that we can have a world filled with love, because love is such a beautiful thing, okay? So that's it from me today, guys. I will see you on another video, on the next video rather. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for clicking into this video. I love you so much, and spread love wherever you go. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I love you. Bye.